joined in for this special Shabbat in honor of my parents' anniversary.
Well, your dad better be here quick. He had to take Lizzie to get ready for her Shabbat, and he should be back in a second.
It's the trouble with having 3 children who chose to be clergy.
That's right.
Well, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I am here live from Emery Weiner, which is not the first time I've been live from Emery Weiner, because, of course, Kelly Dean and I have done this here together, but this is the first time that we are joined by the Emery Weiner Hooligans. Very excited for this brand new band. They're just starting their tour across America, and they're starting here with us tonight. Really, I'm so excited. We have with us Gray Warren on guitar. We have Nico Gio on drums, which makes so much sense now because your name's Ron. So you're all about the rhythm. So anyway, yeah, that was terrible. Okay, and we got Gavin Woods on piano, and we got Juliet Hess on bass, and of course the great Kelly Dean as the band leader and on saxophone. So this is also the first time I've ever performed in front of a
I think they froze.
Okay, it isn't just me because I was going to say lost you.
I know.
They'll fix the technical difficulty. Come on, Scotty. Holly, are we just waiting?
I think they just got off and they'll come back in again.
Okay.
We can do bim bom. Bim bom, bim biddy bom, bim biddy bim bim bom. Bim bom, bim biddy bom, bim biddy bim bom bom. Y'all join me. Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Unmute yourselves and sing.
Shabbat,
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 Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat. There they are, they're back.
We'll try that again. All of a sudden I looked over and we were having a good old time. All right, let's try this again.
Okay.
Hit it, guys. I sing because God made music to lift our hearts and souls from the hollow depths of darkness to the highest heights of heaven, from the cold shadows of desire to the gates of radiant hope. I sing because God made music to mark the moments of wonder, to sanctify the moments of sorrow, to soothe, to comfort, to gladden, to cradle us with infinite harmony, to rock us with eternal love. I sing because God made music to give our souls a trumpet, to give our wisdom a tambourine, to give our prayers a voice, to make our lives a song, the instruments of God's blessings. We continue with Hine Mato. Hine Mato Humanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Mato Humanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Mato Humanayim. Oy 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 shevet achim gam yachad. Shevet achim oy achim gam yachad. Hine mato humanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine mato humanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine mato humanayim. Oy 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 shevet achim gam yachad. Shevet achim oy achim gam yachad. Hine mato humanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine mato humanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine mato humanayim. Oy 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 shevet achim gam yachad. Shevet achim oy achim yachad. Oy 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 shevet achim gam yachad. Shevet achim oy achim gam yachad. And we bring in the light. Each Shabbat, we light candles as a symbolic reminder that Shabbat is meant to be an igniter of our souls, to shed light upon the dark areas, to awaken us with joy. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. And we continue. Page 4, if you have a prayer book. Lecha Dodi. Ya la 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 לקראת כלה, בני שבת, בני שבת, נקבלה. שמור וזכור, בדיבור אחד, והשמיענו אל שלום, עטרת בלם, גם בשמחה ובתורה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, רואי חלה, רואי חלה. La 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 Baruch Hu is prayer for calling us to worship. But we do it in the plural. We do it together. We call ourselves into this moment. As Jews, we pray more often in groups than we do on our own. We offer praise to God as a plurality, and we confess the same way as well. We are part of a community, of a people, and of the world. Rabbi Joshua Heschel taught that in a free society, while not all are guilty, all are responsible. We continue with Baruch. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayers? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Hamevorach, Yahweh Adonai, Hamevorach, Leolam Vaed, Leolam Vaed, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la la August 20th is my parents' anniversary. And it is funny, but somehow it doesn't stick in my brain without one of my sisters reminding me, hey, Mom and Dad's anniversary, remember? I don't know why it is. I'd like to just believe that I could just take them for granted, take their love for granted, take their partnership for granted. So the day comes and the day goes, and if I'm lucky or my phone reminds me, but it just doesn't stick in my brain. Mom and Dad, I'm sorry, but I want to believe it's a compliment to you. I'm not worried about you. Probably a cheap excuse, I know. But I dedicate this piece of prayer, Ahavat Olam, a prayer about eternal love, to you both. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Hamacha, One God doesn't mean we know God. It means we are all part of the whole that we call God. Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Page 10, Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha ve'shinantam levanecha ve'dibarta bam ve'shivtecha ve'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'aderech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam leod al yadecha ve'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru ve'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. So I know that there are some of you who are new to our service, who haven't ever been to our service. I'm so glad that there are some family members of our band. So glad that you've joined us. I saw some parents and some grandparents who are proud to watch their kids play and perform, and it's wonderful. Well, one of the things that we do here at Shema Kolenu, by the way, when I say here, I really mean here. Well, we are here, but Shema Kolenu is a synagogue without walls. And so we go wherever we can. We rent space. Obviously, right now we're just online. But at this time in our service, we invite people to share their simchas, their good newses, as I think is properly translated. Good news, things that you might want to share with all those who are on. There are people who are watching on Facebook. There are people who are watching on YouTube. And there are people who are watching right now on Zoom. If you would like to mention something, you can write it in the chat, or you can just unmute yourself and share with us. But I ask you to just keep it brief because we want to make room for the rest of the service as well. So is there anyone who would like to offer a simcha, a blessing, a piece of good news in your life? Ken? Oh.
3 deans with bachelor's degrees.
Woo-hoo! Dean's kids have all graduated college. Awesome. Anyone else? You can just unmute yourself. I'm in a bit of disadvantage. I can't really see. I can't now. I can't. Anybody? Bueller. My mom. I knew my mom.
Well, I just heard you say anybody, and we're more than anybody. We made you, honey.
Hi guys.
Yes, this is true.
Shalom.
We do get to claim that we made you when we were little kids, 22 years old.
Mom, this is a family show, Mom.
This sweet baby boy came, I was about to say, and he woke up smiling and he went to bed smiling. The sweetest child we ever had. And it's a pleasure, and we're grateful to be here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mom. Love you. By the way, Allison, Ryan, Sarah, Lizzie, did you hear that? Just want to make sure. Anybody else? Any good news that you want to share? All right, we are. Oh,
Sheila Milch had a birthday.
Oh, Sheila! Do you guys know happy birthday?
I'll get one out there.
All right, Sheila. Wait, anybody else have a birthday? Big birthday that's near, recent? Okay, Sheila, this happy birthday is for you.
Give me a big C chord again.
That's how you start right into Micha Mocha.
One,
Micha Mocha Ba'eli Gadol. Micha Mocha Nedava Mole. Micha Mocha Ba'eli Gadol. Micha Mocha Nedava Mole. You know, every once in a while, I always want to make sure that I remind myself and I remind you all that this music doesn't come out of nowhere. We love this music and we love Jewish folk music and Jewish rock music. And it is so much fun seeing you guys develop a liking to it, or at least a good grade for it. I don't know. But you know, this music wasn't sung, it didn't come from Mount Sinai. This music is written by living, breathing, wonderful Jewish musicians. And they're all over the country and all over the world. And one of my personal favorites is Dan Nichols. I know that many of you have gotten to know him through our 10 at noon, or actually our 3M meditation program that takes place now on Mondays and Thursdays at noon. Dan joins us once a week for that, and we have a wonderful opportunity for meditation and prayer and music. But Dan just brings his heart and soul into the music that he writes and performs and brings to the world, and this is just another one. This one is a version of Hashkivenu that he wrote. But all of his music is available online, and I just encourage you, check it out, because you'll really be inspired by so much of what he writes. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Shalom. Hamideinu Malinu Lechai. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkimeinu Adonai, Eloheinu Shalom. Hamideinu Malinu Lechai. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu Shalom. Hamideinu Malinu Lechai. If you are rising, if you're standing, then you don't have to get up. If you are not, and you would like to, or are comfortable to, I invite you to please rise, or just rise in your heart for the Amidah. In the prayer book, you can find it on page 15. Anananananana Adonai. Anananananana Sfatai Tivta. Anananananana Ufiagi. Ufiagi Tehila Techa. Anananananana Adonai. Anananananana Sfatai Tivta. Anananananana Ufiagi. Ufiagi Tehila Techa. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu v'Imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה, רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך? מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמנת על החיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יעלוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. At this time in our service, call to mind people who are in healing and wholeness, people who are suffering. Particularly, we call to mind tonight those who are suffering in the hospitals here and throughout the United States and the world with COVID. And also all those who are struggling to get a bed in our hospitals because they're so filled with COVID. All those who care for the sick, all those who support them, takes a toll on them as well. We call them to mind too. I invite you to write into our chat the names of people whom you are thinking of. And I really encourage all of you who are on the Zoom, check out the chat, read through the names, allow them to touch your heart, and allow them to be a reminder that if you are healthy in this moment, that you are blessed with health and wholeness. We continue in the Shabbat. May the source of strength who bless the weak before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us sing. Amen. Hallelujah. 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 And let us hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. For our announcements, I asked Holly if she would share with you all, with us all, important things you need to know.
Okay, let me open it up. Okay, so in a few weeks, we have these special days coming up called the High Holy Days, starting September 6th, Labor Day evening. So if you go to the website, you can click on the link and get everything you ever wanted to know about our High Holy Days. And we hope you join us, and we'll get all the information. On Sunday, the third texting session is going on, led by Rabbi Scott and Rabbi Laura Scheinkoff. They will be discussing this week, digging deep down into the meaning of the shofar. You don't have to have done the first two sessions. You can jump in now. And again, it's on the website. You can just click and sign up for that course on Sunday evening from 7 to 7:45. On Mondays and Thursdays, we still have 3M meditation music in Mishaberach. Dan Nichols, who was just spoken about, joins us on Mondays now, and Josh Goldberg joins us on Thursdays. And next week for Shabbat, I want to take a poll. How many of you, would you unmute yourselves and let us know how many of you would be willing to come in person to a service? So I'm going to put us in gallery mode. Anybody who's willing to come to a service in person, unmute yourself and let me know.
Nancy and I would be willing.
Okay.
Yes, Sandy.
Okay.
Sheila will come.
Jody
Sheila.
and David.
Okay.
Cynthia,
Okay.
Lusky.
Okay.
Janet Stanger.
Okay.
Looking at people in services.
Holly,
Okay.
we cannot be there next week, but we will be there for all of Rosh Hashanah.
All right.
Very excited.
Oh, yay.
Yay.
Okay. Well, we will definitely look into having services in person next week. We will let you know Monday in an email. So those of you who were questioning whether we had services in person tonight, please check your emails and you will know where we are meeting or if we are just going to meet online. So thank you very much, and I'll turn it back over to our rabbi.
Thank you, Holly. And by the way, even if our services are in person next week, they will be online. I am not sure that we're ever not going to offer them online, high holy day or otherwise. So I want to tell you a story. It was 1992. It was a summer, and I was back at my favorite summer camp, Camp Swig. I was working as the boys' avodah advisor, and there was a woman named Rachel, who she was the girls' avodah advisor, and we had a boss whose name was Steve Klippen. This is all true, by the way. Steve Klippen was a kind of Jewish guy. I don't think I've ever met a Jewish guy exactly like him. He was about 6'3". He had an incredibly he's just giant. His body was just giant. He was just big in every way. He had a big, like, strong mouth and big hair, and he was Australian, and he had that Australian sort of, I don't care about anybody or anything. I'm just going to do whatever I want. But he was incredibly kind, and he was actually from. He was in the Garin, which is the founding group of a kibbutz, of one of the two reformed kibbutzes. Well, at the time, kibbutzes in Israel called kibbutz Lotan. He happened to have fallen in love with a nice Jewish girl from Northern California, and so they were in California for a year, and they were working at camp. And so Steve, who's probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years older than me, he was a director. So at camp, we're at it's a new campus now, but there was a place called Third Plateau. And the Third Plateau was it was a big hike. It wasn't the biggest hike, but it was a big hike. And then there was a plateau at the top. So I'm pretty sure we used it in programs for like Jewish programs, like we pretended it was Masada, and as a kid, I probably climbed it bunches of times. It wasn't a climb, it was more of like a hike. But in any case, here we are in 1992, and we're taking our avodah kids who are entering 11th grade, and probably about 30, 35 of us, and then there were a bunch of other kids with us as well. There were probably 50 in total. And I was at the back of the group, and we started the hike. And maybe, I don't know, a mile and a half in, Steve, my boss, came and found me when he saw me in the front third of the pack. And he laid into me. He ripped into me. I mean, we had a really good, cordial relationship, and I really didn't understand what was going on. And I said, he said, why are you not at the back? Like, oh, well, I sort of got lost in my thought, and I ended up here. And he laid into me, and he said, it was your job. I told you, you had the back, you had the rear. It's getting to be nighttime, and you're up here. What about the kids who have fallen back, or the kids who are slower? How do you know they haven't gotten lost? How do you know that they haven't taken a wrong turn? They are our responsibility. I mean, really, it was something I will never forget in my entire life, and I never will forget it. On a hike. He said, your job is to be last. Your job is to make sure that whoever is the slowest isn't the last. Both because you're going to make them feel better. But second, because you got to keep them safe. This moment in my life really framed about how I see so many things. But it specifically came to light when several years later, I learned for the first time the verses that close this week's Torah portion. Ki Tetzei. So Ki Tetzei is one of the many Torah portions of the book of Deuteronomy that focuses on, here's what's going to happen when you Israelites go into the land. And Ki Tetzei is specifically filled with a bunch of rules and regulations commandments, some of which I would encourage you to read through, some of which don't sound at all relevant to our day, some of which are really irrelevant, but there are others that are crucial. There's a rule in this Torah portion that says when you have a home, because back in those days, they had flat roofs and people slept on the roof. Why? Because it was too hot to sleep inside. And the Torah commands us that you must build a parapet. You must build a railing around the top of the roof, because someday someone's going to sleep on your roof and they're going to sleep and they're going to roll, they're going to fall off your roof if there isn't a guard railing. And even though maybe you might have told someone, don't do this, you have to assume that this is really possible. There are rules about what you do when someone loses something, when they lose a donkey, when they lose some sort of animal, when they lose some sort of belongings. You are supposed to go out of your way to get that thing back to the person who owns it. These are crucial ways of living in the world and in society. And in this week's Torah portion at the end, there's this odd reference to a reminder that we shall never forget Amalek. Amalek was our first enemy out of Egypt. Amalek, it is told, is the forebear of Haman, the bad guy in the Purim story. Amalek attacked. And what made Amalek so horrible? The Torah says Amalek attacked the Israelites by attacking the Necheshalim, the weakest ones, Acharechem, who were behind you Israelites. The reason why the Israelites were attacked by Amalek, other than the fact that he was an enemy and he was a bad guy, is that we left ourselves vulnerable by allowing the weak to fall back and to potentially get lost and to potentially be fodder for the enemy. And this is a reminder of how crucial it is to not let people fall behind. To be willing to get behind them so that they are not the weakest ones. For so many reasons, not the least of which is they may be the weakest ones when it comes to marching and schlepping through the wilderness. But that doesn't mean that they're the weakest ones in every other valuable trait in life. I guarantee you they're not. But I bring all of this up tonight to talk about vaccinations. I know that the Jewish community in the United States has one of the highest rates of vaccination, and I think that is incredible. Although part of me still gets frustrated to recognize that it's really only a B. We have 85% who have accepted and taken and do not have any vaccine hesitancy. It's odd to me how it could possibly not be closer to 97 or 98. Because truly, medically, scientifically, there is a minute percentage of the population who actually cannot take the vaccine, or for whom it is truly a questionable issue. But for the vast majority of us, it is completely safe. And it is saving our lives. What is most important for me about this issue is that for those who are still considering not getting the vaccination, what you don't understand is that this isn't about you. I hear so many people who are reported to talk about, and I've heard people talk about how, I'm not convinced. I haven't read the research. I haven't done this or that or the other, or I don't want to be inconvenienced. I don't want to make my child feel bad. See, what you don't understand, I'm speaking to those who are saying they won't get vaccinated. And I'm also saying it to those who know people who won't get vaccinated to help you with how to argue this issue with them. Because on this point, I wanted to step back. You know me as your rabbi. There are very few things, there are very few times where I will tell you that if you have this opinion, you're wrong. On this issue, you are wrong. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This isn't about you. Take I out of it entirely. If you are unwilling to do something that is so proven to be safe and effective, then you are allowing the nechashalim to fall in the back. Because this isn't about you. It's about our population. It's about the weakest ones among us. It's about your recognition and our recognition as a society and as individuals that we are responsible for one another. Remember, what did Rabbi Hillel ask? He said, Im ein anili mili. He said, if I'm not for myself, who will be for me? This is a primary Jewish concept. We must take care of ourselves. We must care for our bodies, our souls, our relationships, our families, our lives. Because if we don't, then we don't have anything to work with. But then he says, Uchshe'ani la'atzmi ma'ani. But if I'm only for myself, what am I? I think the answer to that is that you're not acting like a human being. You're not acting like someone who is truly part of a community, who relies on others and whom others rely upon. And then he ends it by saying, Ematai. And if not now, when? That question could have been asked last April, May, or June, when we still hadn't seen hundreds and hundreds of millions of shots administered to people with almost no side effects that are lasting and that are important and that don't at all measure up to what it protects us against, which is serious illness and death. We're talking about discomfort versus death. About you and about everyone else. See, the piece that's hidden in this text, in Kitetse, at the end of the Torah portion, when the Torah says that Amalek attacked you Israelites, because Amalek attacked the Necheshalim, the weak who fell behind, and it says acharechem, that second person plural, after you, behind you. And do you know what's so powerful about that word acharechem? Is achar, which means after or behind, is the root of the Hebrew word achrayut, which means responsibility. The very word in Hebrew, achrayut, with that root in it, having to do with what's behind or after, is it's telling us that we're responsible. We can't just leave it or leave them behind. We can't just pretend that it doesn't matter, that it doesn't include us We are responsible for one another. So if you don't want to take the shot for you, fine. Take it for yourself. I'm sorry, you don't want to take it for you. Take it for your mother or your father. Take it for the person who bags your groceries. Take it for the guy who moves the carts in the parking lot. Take it for the dog walker. Take it for your child's teacher. Take it for whomever you want to. But until you do, you are breaking one of the central teachings in Jewish tradition, that we must act responsibly for each other. It is the most Jewish thing we can do. Go, get vaccinated, or go and tell someone who needs to be vaccinated that they need to be. And if they ask you, who sent you to do this? Tell them Rabbi Hillel sent you. Shabbat Shalom. We continue with Aleinu. I invite you to please rise. Page 24. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר היה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו As we draw near to the conclusion of our service, we prepare to say Kaddish. We prepare to call to mind those who are no longer with us. I invite you to write into our chat the names of people whom you are thinking of, who are lost to you, lost to the world, whose memory remains a blessing in your heart. I encourage all of us to read those names as we offer these words. Page 26. Yitkadal, Yikadash Shemei Rabbah. V'alma divrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh. V'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayedachol Beit Yisrael. V'agalav yizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ulmei al-maya. Yibarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmed kudsha brichu. Le'elam im kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi Shlomo Rabbah min Shemai. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who makes peace in the high places make peace upon us, upon all Israel and all the world. And let us say amen. And we are going to conclude with Oseh shalom. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. La 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 Shalom, say Shalom Aleichem. Oh, say Shalom Limromah. Booyah, say Shalom Aleinu. B'yal Kol Yisrael. Sheteivel Yeinu. I want to ask everybody to please unmute. Please unmute, because I want the kids to hear you root them on. Let's hear it for Gray.
Good
job.
On base. Thank you guys so much. This has been so much fun. We raise up our Kiddush cups. Baruch atah Adonai.
Eloheinu melech haolam.
Hooray for
Amen.
My dog says yay. Yoshi says yay.
Rashi, Refrain Kodesh, Mitzrayim, Anu Kidashta, Shabbat, Kod Baruch atah Adonai, Kodesh HaShabbat.
L'chaim.
Holly, are you highlighting a screen?
Yeah, we got Jody and David Gibson's.
All right, everybody look at Jody and David Gibson's screen. So,
Woo!
Holly, Jody, yep, that's a beautiful color.
That's beautiful.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam. Amen.
Beautiful. Oh my God, it's gorgeous. Beautiful.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbos, everyone. Uh-oh, somebody's phone's ringing.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you.
Oh, thank you all.
And hooligans.
The hooligans were fabulous. Who wants to see the hooligans again?
I do.
Yes. Yay.
Make sure your luggage is underneath the bus. Our next gig's tomorrow night.
Next up, Lafayette, Louisiana.
Okay. How do I do this?